Alright, let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling something huge, something that for a lot of people is the most stressful part of buying a home, getting the mortgage. But what if that entire process, well, what if it didn't have to be a nightmare? What if it could all be streamlined, simplified, and done under one roof? Let's break down how that's supposed to work.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll talk about that classic mortgage shopping headache. Then we'll explore this new integrated approach. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of how the process actually works, and you'll meet the in-house team that makes it happen. I've also got a really important pro tip for any buyer out there. And we'll wrap up by asking, is this the future of home buying?
Okay, so let's start with a feeling I think we all know, or can at least imagine. You know that feeling? The sheer frustration of trying to find the right home loan. It's invasive, it's long, it's deeply personal, and honestly, most people just want it to be over as quickly as possible.
If you ask a bunch of people who've bought a house this very question, you'll get a few different answers. But I guarantee you, navigating the financing, the mortgage, it's always going to be right up there at the top of the list. It can feel so confusing, so overwhelming, like you're just out there trying to figure it all out by yourself. In this quote right here, it gets to the core of the problem. I mean, think about it. The traditional system isn't really set up for you to easily compare your options. A loan officer at a specific bank, their job is to sell you their bank's loans, not to help you find a potentially better deal down the street. It kind of discourages shopping around.
And this really lays it all out, the old way versus the new way. The traditional path is this gauntlet. You're filling out application after application, getting multiple hard hits on your credit score, and then you're left with this confusing pile of offers. The new approach flips that on its head. The goal is efficiency. One application, one soft credit pull, and then you get guided, easy-to-understand options. So, what's the fix? How is this new integrated model actually designed to solve these problems? Well, the main idea is actually pretty simple. What if your mortgage expert was a real partner on the same team as your real estate agent right from day one?
And look, this is the key thing to understand. This isn't just your agent giving you a name of some lender they like. No, this is a real structural change. The loan officer is basically an in-house finance manager. They're part of the same company, on the same team, all working together to help you.
This is probably the best way to wrap your head around it. It's just like having an insurance broker, right? You don't call 10 different insurance companies. You call one broker, and they go out and shop all those companies to find the best policy for you. This model just applies that exact same logic to your mortgage.
All right, so the idea makes sense, but what does it actually look like for you, the home buyer? Let's walk through the journey, from that very first application all the way to getting your pre-approval in hand.
So the whole process is designed to be super simple. It all starts with one single digital application. That one application then triggers just one soft credit pull. And remember, a soft pull doesn't hurt your credit score. And that's all your finance manager needs to go out and get you 3 competitive quotes from different lenders. Simple as that.
And getting into this process is super flexible. It's designed to meet you wherever you are. Your agent might introduce you directly through an app. That's the fast track. Or you might just click a link you saw in an email or on social media. You could even be at an open house, scan a QR code on a flyer, and get started right there. All of those paths lead to the same simple system.
Okay, so the tech is slick and efficient, for sure. But this isn't some robot-run, hands-off experience. It's the people behind the technology that really provide what you could call a white glove service. This is all about the human touch. So, let's meet the team.
So instead of you having to play telephone between a bunch of different people, this model literally builds a team around you. You've got your agent, who's focused on finding the right home. You have your dedicated loan officer, who's like your personal finance manager. And then there's this third really key player, the concierge.
And this concierge role, this is pretty cool. Their whole job is to give you that personal touch. Soon after you start, you can expect a welcome call from a real person. They're there to help you along, nudge your application forward if needed, answer questions, and they'll even check in if you put your home search on pause for a bit. They make sure nobody falls through the cracks.
And you're never left in the dark. That's the whole point. Both you and your agent get these really clear, simple updates at every single milestone. You always know exactly where things stand, from the moment you're introduced to when your application is moving to getting that pre-approval and finally,
getting those quotes delivered.
All right, I want to pause for a second here because this next part is a huge pro tip for anybody buying a home, no matter how you're getting your loan. It has to do with something that happens behind the scenes that can cause a world of headaches.
It all comes down to this sneaky little thing called a trigger lead. The second, and I mean the second, a lender does a hard pull on your credit for a mortgage, the big credit bureaus are allowed to sell your name and contact info to other lenders. And the result of that? It's chaos.
And when I say they sell your info, I mean your phone is about to explode. You can expect to get somewhere between 100 and 200, not a typo, unsolicited calls, texts, and emails. It's totally overwhelming, and what's worse, a lot of people think their own lender or agent sold their data, but it's really the credit bureaus.
But here's the good news. There is a fix, and it's surprisingly simple. Just go to optoutprescreen.com. This is a free site that's authorized by the federal government. You can fill out a quick form online to opt out for 5 years. Or, if you want to opt out for life, you just print a form and mail it in. It's a tiny step to protect your privacy and, believe me, your sanity.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second and think about the big picture here. This whole shift towards an integrated in-house mortgage experience, it's not just about making things more convenient. It could signal a real change in the whole philosophy of how we buy homes.
And that really is the big question, isn't it? By putting the finance expert on the same team as the real estate agent, the entire process changes. It goes from being a bunch of separate, stressful steps to one collaborative effort. It makes you wonder if maybe the biggest purchase of your life could finally feel less like you're running a marathon all by yourself and a lot more like you're playing a team sport. Thanks for tuning into The Explainer.